Morning, folks. This is Walt, and on behalf of the BAMF podcast, I can speak this morning. You can tell that the coffee has not been flowing as fast and as freely as it should. We're doing the Indie Creative Spotlight, and this morning, like Bigfoot, we have tracked down in the wild the elusive Mr. Kenneth Brown. How are you, sir?
Hello, good sir. Thanks for having me.
Oh my God, I'm super excited. We've been talking about getting you on the show for some time.
Running away.
I won't tell everybody what the bribe was, but it was heavy and hot. So we usually start off the show with the the most important question of our time. When you got into comics, was it spinner rack or a comic book shop?
Neither.
Oh no, were you digital?
No, I got into comic books late. I was, I think when I first saw the movie Aliens, and my mom, I was scared as hell, and she's like, this was created by, a certain individual. They wrote it and they directed it, so it's not real, the chest burster and all that. And I was, so it kind of calmed me down. So after that, I was into scripts and movies. That was it. So you probably find me like getting on Script City and buying scripts and just reading them.
No kidding. So what age are we talking about when this was all going down?
Well, when I saw that movie, I think I was probably around 11, maybe. I don't know, something like that. But I didn't start reading scripts until, I was doing short stories on my own, and I didn't start doing scripts until probably around 20 years old, maybe.
So at one point, is some of the stuff you're doing now, is this all kind of like storyboarding for upcoming Kenneth Brown direct to big screen?
So, it's funny because I've been in, I went to school for film. I went for school for, I taught myself how to write, so I can't say, but I did take some creative writing classes and things of that nature. But I've just always been into film. My whole thing was one day directing and getting off into that. So yeah, I've been there for like a long time.
Right on, right on. Now, and you can see that in your property, Judas Breed, in the first issue. We talked about it before in the show, and we said that we really liked the pacing and the some of the camera shots that you guys had going on in the first in the first issue, like when they're going down into that sinkhole. Some of the lighting effects, some of the placing of the characters. Even the attention to detail you had to things like the kind of stuff they wore, like spacesuits and some of the equipment they used. Can you talk a little bit about that and how reading scripts might have translated into creating comic panels like that?
Well, all that you see in those books, that's pretty much Ryan. The cool thing about Ryan is he draws verbatim. It's like everything that I write, I don't know if you can see that, but everything I write, and that's me right there breaking it up. You see,
right
those
on.
numbers are panels. So everything I write, he goes in there and he comes up with what he sees. But it's basically what I've written. But the outfit, whatever you see is basically coming from him. So it's kind of spooky because it's like I've seen that, but it's not in the script per se. You see in the script that she's falling in the hole, but you know how the sand is going down in the hole as she's falling. I didn't put that in there. So it's the stuff that you see is basically stuff that he came up with too. And that's why even though I'm the creator, he's a creator too, in a sense. So he's creating the book as well in that sense.
Right on, right on. So it's more collaborative than it is just one guy.
Collaborative. Because after I give Ryan that script, he he comes back with panels, and it's either nay or yay. You know, it's like, do you like it, or do you, you know, are we going to go somewhere else with it? And 9 times out of 10, I like it. It's like, yeah, we're going to go with that. You know, so it's basically what he saw out of what I wrote, and you know, I'll go with it. Or it's very seldom that I might change something.
Right on. So, do you when you're doing scripts, right? Now you say you're a script guy, right? So you went on up on Script City, studied scripts and how to do scripts for film. Do you script tight or do you script loose? Like when you script you know, an action sequence, is it?
No, I'll write it.
Yeah, do you write it?
Yeah, I'll write it out. You know, script writing for screenplays and comic books aren't really that different. The only difference is that I've noticed, because even with this script, Judas Breed, it took me 9.5 months to write that. Okay, so and I see a lot of you know, awesome creators on like online, and they can write scripts like that. You know, so me, I don't know how they do it, but for me, I have to take my time and you know, see what's going on, and I write the action scene out to a, you know, I mean, it might be this long, but then when it comes to comic books, I'm gonna have to shrink it back down, you know, to here, and still try to make it exciting. So,
Absolutely.
I don't know. I can't even explain that one. I can't. I mean, I know, you know, personally, but to explain it is like, you know, I don't know how to explain that.
No, I got you. I got you. Because I mean, in a sense, you're taking something that might take place over a series of 30 to 90 seconds, and you have to condense it down to that one panel.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That I wrote was like 100 and it was probably like 130 pages.
Wow. For one issue?
No, that was for the screenplay I wrote.
Oh, right on.
This didn't start off as a comic book. You know, it started off as a screenplay. That's what, you know, I was sending scripts to Hollywood, man. I mean, that's where I wanted to be. But it's hard to get in Hollywood. And now I'm seeing it's even harder to even get into, you know, comic books, you know, trying to get, you know, with like Dark Horse or whatever, you know. But I'm not a person that do like an ongoing series. My book has a beginning, middle, and end, just like a screenplay. But I have to cut it down so it won't be too redundant, you know, and, you know, trying to make it longer than it has to be. So right now, a lot of people used to ask me, you know, how long is the series? I didn't know because I'm taking the screenplay and I'm like cutting it down to make it enjoyable in a comic book. So now I can say, because I'm almost done, that it's probably going to be about 6 issues. So,
right on.
Yeah.
Right on. And you know, people have said before that you know, properties that are turned into movies that are adapted from comic books, it's like you don't need to storyboard, because basically the comic book is the storyboard.
Yeah. But,
so
you know, you got to be good at that too, you know, because there's a lot of comic books that I read that I don't even know how to explain it, but it jumps a lot, meaning it's not I don't even know how to explain that. It's not like a smooth read because it goes from one thing to another. And I think the way I wrote it in the screenplay is because I have you know, different areas where it has like the different cuts. It's pretty much easy for me to keep it the way it is, you know, on page. I mean, I don't even know if I explained that right. I know.
Well, that's the important part, because I mean, it really shows in the issues that you've released so far. We've already gone on record as saying that we're big fans when we had issue 1 and 2. and we were pretty much foaming at the mouth, waiting for 3 to drop. And now that it has, we were pleasantly surprised because it was a very interesting change of pace. For those who don't know, or what's that?
I was so scared of 3
Yeah.
because I knew that issue 1 had like a lot of things going on as far as action and all that. But when issue 3 came, I said, okay, it's kind of like time to tone it down a little bit so we can so the readers can get to know Connie a little better, and it's still some things that you're gonna find out about Connie. I can't talk about it, but
Right on.
The first 3 pages has a lot to do with the stuff that she's going through that had her go out of on that adventure in the first place. So
right on. So for those who aren't really familiar with your property, we have a group of scientists that encounter a strange alien artifact that turns out to be more than just an artifact. And of course, like you do, things go wrong and mayhem happens.
Right? Like, what did he say? You just know it's gonna happen,
Yeah, that was Dom on the last show. He's like, you just know it's gonna happen. You can obviously tell based on your statement a few minutes ago, and then by looking at this, that this is kind of your love letter to Aliens, and that franchise. It's amazing. The imagery that you have, especially on these covers, is creepy, but yet it's iconic.
Iconic.
Right. I mean, when you see the the creature, you automatically know that if you've read the book at all, when you see that kind of like that circle, you know what's next. Can you talk a little bit about designing the creature and what went into making something that is a love letter but not exactly the same song?
I'm gonna tell you guys something that I probably never even talked about.
Hit it.
Well, Aliens was like a huge influence on me as far as writing is concerned. I mean, when I saw that movie, I love dialogue, and these characters were so real. And I think the dialogue made you feel like that stuff was real. Okay, so when Aliens 2 came out and Aliens 3 and 4 came out, I was kind of upset with 20th Century Fox. And this is what started me writing, just in case all of you want to know where this came from. So when the 3rd and 4th movie came out, I was upset because I didn't think it should have been there. Okay. So I actually wrote Aliens 5 for myself.
Nice.
Okay. And when I started writing it, a friend of mine was reading, and he was like, basically like, man, why are you writing this, as aliens? Why are you writing this for them? This thing can stand on its own, So, I was like, okay. So I went in and basically wrote Aliens for me, naming it Judas Breed. And basically the way I wrote it was Connie is actually Ripley, and Hicks is actually John, and Annie is actually Newt.
Right on.
But I had to go and start over, so I had to go in and create a new alien. So all these aliens that have been done. So it's not, what else is there out there that can actually scare anybody? But I said, I want this to stand toe to toe with aliens. Not saying it is, but I wanted to stand toe to toe with aliens. So I said, well, I'm gonna have to come up with a different alien. So it took me a while to do that. And I knew that the alien in Aliens was actually basically formed by incubating itself inside the human. I said, well, what have we seen as far as an alien consuming the host and being born through the host instead of inside the host?
Very creepy.
But you'll find out more. I think you're finding out a little bit more in issue 3.
Yeah, there's that one scene in the middle of the book where a couple people are standing around behind a pane of glass, waiting for bad things to happen.
Yeah,
that's some creepiness.
And you start realizing now what the government's trying to do, and basically what they're looking for. And I can't talk about it too much, but I'm hoping that I did my part in issue 3.
Right on. Well, I know what's that?
I'm still scared because a lot of people, I mean, I got a couple of feedbacks from it, but a lot of people don't want to read it digitally. They waiting on the book to come out. So.
Right on. The thing I really enjoyed about issue 3 was it takes a step back, because issue 1 and 2 really had a lot going on. There was a lot of world building. There was a lot of character interactions, and then a lot of excitement because things go wrong really quick. And then you take a step back and you get this little glimpse into, like you were saying, why Connie went out onto this science mission. Yeah. And the first thing I thought to myself is, dear God, how much more can this poor woman go through? I'm like, wow, Kenneth must really hate this girl.
No, and I remember the one interview you did, and, with Ryan, he was saying how I'm looking for this Ripley, but I didn't feel like Ripley went through enough. I mean, and you only got so much time to even tell a story. So some things are rushed. I didn't really want to rush, this story. I kind of wanted people to understand Connie and, feel where she's going. That's why I didn't put the one scene in there until issue 3, the first couple of pages. But she went through that in the beginning before all this, even happened. So it's just things I want people to learn. Now, you're about to see this, this badass part come out eventually. But, she has a daughter now, and she's, worried about her well-being, especially that she's been gone so long. And, John, I guess, screwed up and, taught her some stuff that they are pretty much already talked about, So, I want people to see that family, that family part. So hopefully you get a little bit of that in issue 3.
Well, what it also does is it shows you how high the stakes are.
Yeah. Awesome stuff about to happen. I'm not done wowing you yet. I'm not done.
Nice. Well, you did say it was a six issue series, so you got to save some for those last couple.
I'm kind of cramming a lot, because the first issue I had 25 pages, but I'm like, okay, man, if I keep doing 25 pages, it's going to drag it out. So then I go through the script and I say, okay, where's this the stopping point where I wanted this issue? So by the time issue 3 came, I was like, I said I'm gonna have to give him 30 some pages this time, So right now I'm cramming a lot, and then it's crazy because I feel bad for Ryan sometimes, because even like on each page I'm cramming like 6-7 panels, just to help give you guys as much information as I can. So it's fun. This is my first comic book. I'm still learning.
He seems like he's keeping up, though.
Yeah, he's keeping up, but he's like, he's real busy. Then I had a talk with him, and this is all he does. So he's doing other properties too, and at first I used to get kind of frustrated because I'm like, oh man, this stuff is it's not coming out fast enough, and I'm hearing, I still have to understand his side, but I'm hearing like fans, man, this stuff ain't coming out fast enough. I had one guy tell me, it's looking like the third issue ain't coming out until 2018. I'm like, oh, like man, you just gotta wait, So I'm learning, but I need people to understand too that Ryan has a lot on his plate too, and this is all he does. So he's doing other properties. I just have to wait my turn. So he's talking. He might not be doing the inks or colors no more, and I said, man, I need you to do these inks and colors. I can't. It has to stay the same. Whatever I have to do, just I'll do it. I'll wait if I have to. So
right on. The now issue 3 also came out and was done through Kickstarter. How has your experience been with Kickstarter? I mean, is it like gut clenching, or do you jump onto Kickstarter and say, okay, we got this?
I am not a Bob Sally. This is every time I do a Kickstarter, it's like, I don't even drink, so it's like all I drink is coffee, and that's not even helping. it's gut crunching. I don't know. It's one, and I don't even take my goal up high because I'm like scared that it's not gonna, make the goal. So I keep my goal. I say whatever I get over what I'm trying to get is good. But I'm just like at the computer like every day, just
hitting refresh.
Yeah. I'm not talking to my wife, my kids. I'm just like,
just leave me alone. I just got to stare at the screen. It'll work itself out. How has the interaction with the fans been on Kickstarter? I mean, yeah, you obviously did pretty well in this last run.
Our fans are great. I mean, you know what I've learned though, that even in my first Kickstarter, I only had like 37 backers, 34 backers. And then the second Kickstarter, I noticed that the backers was going up, and I think I had 73. And then my third one was 114. So I see I mean, you got different type of fans. You got Kickstarter fans, you got Facebook fans, and but that those Kickstarter fans, they're starting to, climb. And I don't even really I'm only pushing out on Facebook. So,
which should show you the strength of the title, because I mean, some of these guys who do comics on Kickstarter, indie guys, I mean, they're pimping all over the place. If there's a digital platform,
I don't even know all the platforms. So, and it's kind of cool that I mean, I would like to have more fans. I mean, well, more Kickstarter fans, but I started learning that the more fans you have, the more work you got to do when it comes to getting these rewards out.
So do you have like your garage full of reward fulfillment right now?
No, actually, I got stuff all over the place, man. As far as my 1, 2, and 3s all over the place. So I got your books over there too, by the way.
All right. Right on.
Just missing the tubes so I could put my, I got some stuff going on. I forgot to order certain things. So that's what I'm waiting on now. So I should be ready to ship out next week sometime.
No rush. I bought in because, like I said before, you've been very gracious in letting us get sneak peeks. So I wanted to make sure I backed, and I backed well. So, right. So, but we're kind of left with on issue 3. We get this creepy glimpse into everything that's going on behind the scenes. I'm pretty sure you've already plotted and got things rolling for issue 4. Do we see like a heavy return to action, or do we see more world building and creepy stuff going on?
Oh no, we're going back to the action. You got issue. That script is done. You see that? Right now, this is issue 4. So, right, I'm basically you can't have action all the time. You know, you got to break it down, explain some stuff, and let some people, let the people learn, more stuff about the characters. Now in issue 4 is Judas Breed Unleashed. So I'm not going to tell you what's happening, but with that title, you probably know something.
As my brother Dom always is fond of saying, things happen.
They're about to happen. Hey, I'm thinking about having you and Don in the book too. So I have issue 5 will be Judas Breed Black Ops.
Oh, nice.
So, and since you guys are, the military, I know what I wrote, but I need you guys' help to see if those characters are pretty much doing what they're supposed to be doing. So
I'll be right on. That's a huge compliment. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll make sure I put my I think I got my old patrol cap here somewhere. I'll put that on. We'll make sure we're good.
I got a character called his name is Roger. So I'm probably gonna make you Roger.
That works for me.
You're gonna be Walt. So we're gonna see how this is gonna play out.
Right on, right on. The characters that you got going on, you have a lot of you do a lot of character development in a short period of time. You get a sense of what Connie's like. You get a sense of what some of the other characters like John are like. Are these people all based off people that are in your periphery, or are they coming more from like some of the characters you admire and some of the properties that you've seen?
Yeah, some characters I admire and properties I've seen. Yeah, like I said, John is actually Hicks, and Connie is actually Ripley. So it's just my version of it,
Right on.
Judas Breed is what I wished 20th Century Fox would have did after the second installment of Aliens.
So
and then like when I wrote it in the script that I wrote, I actually wrote it as part 3 and 4 being a dream while she was hooked up to the machines.
Right.
So it didn't exist.
So we kind of get a glimpse of that in the first few pages of 3, right? And that shows you a little bit of what Connie is like. And
I had to change it up a little bit though, so that script was rewritten as well. Judas Breed was, I think I did probably like 8 rewrites on that.
Really?
Yes, and I'm still doing rewrites when Ryan sent me back the finished panels. So this is another rewrite.
Wow, so that must drive him a little nuts, huh?
It's driving me nuts, I can tell you that. It's work.
Right. The monster, right? You can see the creature on most of the covers. I got to tell you though, the creepiest cover that you've ever done is the one where it's all blacked out. You can see like red highlights from like blood or whatever, and then it's the silver outline of the Judas bug itself, right? I mean,
one.
Yeah, it's from issue 1. Yeah, that blacked out cover. That cover was creepy.
That cover.
Yes, right.
The beginning.
So the beginning.
Yeah.
What brought you to have the bug like a centipede looking thing? Is it the fact that we pretty much all fear creepy crawly stuff, or is it?
No, that's one bug that and I got that. While I was trying to come up with an idea for the creature, pretty much, I was like, what scares the heck out of me? And it's that creepy slug, that white bug that's in that, he's curled up in the dirt when you dig it up, and he's curled there and he's got those legs, and that thing scares the heck out of me. Scared the heck out of me. So that's where the idea came from. I was like, so when I'm like character building, I started with that creature, because that is the essence of the story, as far as I'm concerned, as far as the beginning. So I had to come up with how does this creature work? So that's when, I don't know if you saw the concept sketches I just put online. And that's what I basically told Ryan at that time. So then he came up with I told him I wanted the creature to attach itself onto the vertebrae, and, maybe it had this probe needle sticks, stuck into the back of the skull. And basically the creature is able to control the mobility of your body by processing everything, through that probe. So there's a lot of stuff you're going to learn about that creature, even in issue 4.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, that's creepy.
Will know how to open the door using the mobility of your body, and I got that idea. It's crazy because a lot of people ask, how did you come up with this thing was formulated through different movies that I love. So it's even like with the bug, and I remember the bug from what's that? Troopers?
Starship Troopers?
Starship Troopers. And you remember the brain and how you stuck the needle in you? I said, I like that. that was one part that I used, to be able to say, okay, this bug is actually a brain, but it uses your body to be able to move. It's like our version of our spacesuit. So, and I think I said that in issue 3 too. So there's a lot of learn about this creature. So.
Well, working with Ryan, you've come up with some amazing images. One of the images we were talking about earlier was you did this fan piece where the Judas creatures are basically chasing you and Ryan and a couple of other folks. Can you talk about how that image came about?
I wanted to try to do something different, and I didn't see anything like that as far as the indie community was concerned. I was like, that'll be a cool piece to give to fans, as the creators of this book also being placed in this predicament.
Mortal danger.
Yeah. So then, even by doing that, I wanted people to know that you're going to see the creators also in the book. And well, I can't tell you what's going to happen, but we're gonna be in the book alongside you.
I'm stoked now.
I cannot wait till that issue come out. This whole thing is like leading up to like that issue, and I just can't wait.
so when
that issue 5 is pretty much going to be all action.
Nice.
Yeah.
So when issue 6 finally drops and the curtain closes, who's your pick to play Connie in Hollywood?
I'm gonna tell you, man. When I wrote this, I wanted Ripley. I mean, I wanted Sigourney Weaver. I mean, this whole thing was, I wrote this for her to redeem her. I mean, after they, and I've watched this movie constantly. I just watched all of them 3 weeks ago. I'm sorry. And I just kept saying, man, why it just jumped off of all this bad, gritty stuff in part 1 and 2. I was like, oh yes, I already know they're about to come to Earth. And it never happened. And when I was sending this script to Hollywood, and I was shopping it around, and I remember having this this one company who would look over the script and see if I'm heading in the right direction. And I remember the lady was telling me, well, you just can't have whatever happens, you either going to have to write it in space or on Earth. You can't have the two, you can't have the two written together. And I said, well, why? It's not making sense. It's just the rules. I'm like, okay.
Now wait a minute, who makes these rules?
Right, and this doesn't make sense. I said, well, so I said, well, James Cameron, he does it all the time. She tells me, well, you're not James Cameron. I'm like, so after that, I was done. I actually stopped writing for 5 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't feel like I was going anywhere, and I once a friend told me about Kickstarter, and when I got on there and I started seeing all these amazing creators, and I was like, whoa. And then this is when I started getting into comic books, is when I read Mark Millar's Superior book. And I was like, I said, this can be a movie, and I said, well, why can't I just write this in a comic book? And so that's basically how the comic book. I'm seeing a lot of Mark Millar books, even Frank Miller. I read a lot of indies like Bob Sally books. I'm a Bob Sally fan. He was like one of the guys I came to when I even got on the comic book scene, and he steered me, in the direction of where I'm at now. So
yeah, Bob is one of those guys who's like Kickstarter celebrity, but he's also very gracious. He'll talk to anybody.
I even have a job. It's like I hate it because he makes it look so easy, and I'm like, I said, I'm suffering over here, man. I said, my job sucks. I'm not making no money. I have to save up to get this crap done. And he's just traveling. And I'm like, how's he doing this? So.
I think that little alien that he carries with him is paying him to do it.
Yeah. 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 He's an awesome guy.
But so what besides Bob Sally's stuff, what are you reading right now?
Just Mark Miller, man. I'm reading Mark Miller. I still read. I get the movie script, and I get the movie, and I watch the movie while I'm reading the script. And I still learn that way. To see how it was broken up and how to. I look at the panels as scenes. I freeze it sometime and see how they look on there, and that's basically what I'm doing right now. I read a lot of Mark Miller. I just bought another Mark Miller book. So that's when I go to the Barnes and Noble, that's what I look for.
Right on. So when you're putting together your own stuff, do you walk around like a director where you look through the little window so that you have like a frame of mind, a frame of reference?
And if you think about it, when you creating a comment, and I don't know if this is for everybody else, but I look at myself as being a director. I mean, I'm seeing it like that. I'm writing it like that. If it's a close up, if it's a wide shot, or whatever. I don't know. I also try to get, before I even start writing a script. Like so far, I've written 5 scripts. That's over probably a span of like 12, 14 years though. And if I don't see it as a movie trailer, then I don't mess with it until I come to terms that this can be a movie trailer. So I'll write out scenes, and then I'll actually put a soundtrack on, and like from a movie trailer that I like, and I'll close my eyes and I'll picture all these scenes that I've written and see how it looks in my head to the sound of that soundtrack. And if I like that, I'll start writing it out.
Nice.
It's a long process with me.
Well, we appreciate the long process because it shows you're putting in the work. Because, like I said, we were big fans of 1 and 2, and when you started uh, sneak peeking me some stuff for issue 3, I was salivating. I was like, "This is great! Oh my god, this is so good!" So I mean, it was a lot of fun to get some of those behind the scenes shots, because when the book actually came out and I did get to dig into it, you get that anticipation of, oh, there was that thing he showed me, that's badass, look at how it really came out. So that's fun. That kind of behind the scenes stuff really pays off in the end, because you see the finished product and you're like, it's almost like going to a Ferrari factory, and you see that they lay down the frame, and once they get those tires on and the car rolls forward, you're like, yes, you hear that engine purr to life, and that whole process underneath comes together in that one car. It's the same thing when you're looking at panels like this, scene construction, stuff like that. You can tell that the work was put in, because the pacing is very good, the characters are very good, the creature is freaking phenomenal. The combination of the little creepy bug things, and then the finished beast itself is fantastic.
Yeah. I hope I did that right, by the way.
What's that?
Putting all that together. I'm waiting on Ryan. He likes to jab me, so
yeah, right on. Yeah. You talking about Ryan Danks, the other guy on the show?
Yeah, I sent it to him too.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a good eye for design. He does his own projects as well, and he's got a very interesting eye for design. So he's usually a good filter to run things through. Right now we have you just finished getting the digital out to your backers for number 3. Are there other places that if folks want to pick up Judas Breed, they can track it down? You guys are on Comixology now, right?
Right. Yes. I haven't put it on Comixology yet because I wanted the backers to read it first. And I don't want anybody talking about it, so that'll be on Comixology soon. I don't know. It's this thing is already a lot of work, and it's like, I'm trying to get myself ready to a couple of cons to push this thing out. But like I said, all this stuff takes money, and it's funny because I don't think a lot of people even know how much goes into writing a comic book, and they see a comic book and they thinking that, that it's just supposed to come out, But this thing is a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of money, and I can only go as fast as I can, So I'm gonna try to get out there a little bit more. That's why I'm doing a live interview with you.
Well, we're trying to make it as painless as possible. So hopefully you're not squirming too much. You're starting to talk about cons. What's the local con near you?
We just had a con. I don't even remember what it was. It wasn't. I think it was a big con, but I don't think a lot of people like the con. I don't know. A lot of people telling me I should go to New York or
right on
Chicago. So I'm close to Chicago, so I think I'll probably do one of those.
And where's home for you?
St. Louis.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I ain't gonna say all that, but it's home, put it that way.
Right. And have you been to a con before?
Not a big con, no. It'll be my first time for. I'm scared. I'm scared to do that one too. So, but I know I have to do one, so we'll see.
Right on. Get the book out there. Are you going to team up with Ryan? What's that?
I'm trying to walk out of the woods right now.
Well, like I said, hopefully we're not making it too painful for you.
No.
Is Ryan in the same state, or is he someplace different?
Ryan's in Boston. So,
oh, right on. He's right around the corner from me.
Hopefully I can try to do my first con with Ryan. So, I have to talk to him about that, probably set up, something together. I'll be shipping him out a heap load of books to, sell if he would like to sell them. So He said his mom is waiting on issue 3, so I have to get that up
there. Wow, you got his mom to be a fan. Was she an Aliens fan back in the day too?
I don't know. I know she likes this Judas Breed though. So she likes all. You know, I think he said she's waiting on this book. So
I wonder if she puts his books up on the fridge, puts like a little gold star on it.
I don't know. My mom does, so I don't know.
So you mentioned you have wife, you have kids. What do they think about all this?
Oh, my wife she plays a big part in what I do. So I mean, she actually keeps me going when I want to stop. You know, I'm not gonna lie. Some days I'll be wanting to give up. You know, you get in that frame of mind. And I think I have it bad because you know, I've done wedding photography that I got out of because I felt like it wasn't going anywhere. So I guess I'm the type of person that if I feel like it's not going anywhere, I'll pretty much stop and, you know, go do something else. So I said Judas Breed, I'm definitely going to finish though.
Well, right on. Well, now you got a bunch of fans that are going to keep bugging you if you don't.
Well, fans are good. Love my
right.
fans.
What do your kids think? Are your kids old enough to appreciate what you're doing?
No, I don't let them read it. They know I'm writing though, but my oldest daughter, she's 10 now. She's like, when are you gonna let me? I'm like, no, not yet. You know.
Yeah, especially not issue 3. Those first few pages are rough.
My youngest daughter, she know her right, so I think she's kind of like spilling out on her. So she's trying to, you know, which is kind of cool. You know, I'm like, oh, look at this. You know?
She's trying to be like dad.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
my oldest daughter, she's into photography too, so it's like they all, you know, getting a little piece of me, I guess. So, and my right son, he's into drawing. He's 6, so he's into drawing, and you know, so I'm gonna help him in that too. So.
Oh, right on. What do you call it? Later on after the show, send me an address. I'll send your son out some supplies.
Okay. Okay.
Always looking for budding artists. So yeah, we'll start them off young.
Yeah, I'll do that.
So if I was to say, hey Kenneth, you know, you got your love letter to aliens, I'd love to do a love letter to Predator. You'd write it, right?
And can I tell you something? Predator's coming too.
Yes. Yes, you heard it here, folks.
Yeah, I already got a script for that.
Do you really?
Oh yeah. I mean, it won't be Predator, but
right.
I have a script where I thought Predator should have gone. And it hasn't been done yet. So here's the thing. Everything that I'm writing is things that I felt that certain properties should have done and they didn't do. So Judas Breed being one of them. I have one for Predator. I'm about to say something about this other one, but that'll give too much away, so I can't say that. I also have one for that I did called The Colony that I'm thinking about doing. Well, I thought about doing it after this, but I said, well, since we already had like a colony-based thing, I'll do this other one that I did, and then I come out with Colony as a comic book later. So yeah, I got 5 scripts I've written so far. I have another script I'm about to do called The Death Seed. I already have that in my head.
Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Oh no. I don't talk about anything I don't have copywritten. So
yeah, that's smart. That's definitely smart.
But I know you'll like it.
Right on. I'll try and pick your brain off camera. That way, things won't spill out into the interwebs. Right. The cool thing about Judas Breed is that you have you've already gone on record as saying there's a beginning, middle, and end, right? But there's always, for cool properties like this, there's always going to be like a demand for more content.
Yeah.
So like if you look at Aliens now, they're doing all this other timeline stuff where they went into Prometheus and then Covenant. Um, we know that you're planning. You just said that you're planning beginning, middle, and end story for Connie and crew. Could we see the Judas Breed pop up in another storyline with another set of characters?
You know, I actually had a part two to this, but like I said, if it was to come out, I probably wouldn't write it. You know, if I trusted somebody else to write it, I wouldn't mind if they came up with um, you know, something. But I did have a part two to go back to that planet where everything started. Um, and you pretty much see at the end of this why I was going to do that. But then I got to the point where I'm kind of like tired of Judas Breed.
I just want it to end.
I want to move on to something else, you know. But I mean, if somebody else, you know, that I knew, um, yeah, I wouldn't mind if they, uh, you know, try to do something, you know, off of the characters.
Right on. And will the Alien Hunter series that you're working on, will that connect to Judas Breed at all? So will we see a Judas Breed versus Alien Hunter?
No.
So no AVP spinoffs.
I wouldn't mind doing a spinoff. It's crazy because I actually started writing a spinoff using Bob Sally's characters.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
But you know, when I let Bob read it, I didn't hear back from him, so I was like, you know, I just stopped writing it. But what I have so far, I kept, and you know, I said I can always use this, you know, for a different story. So, you know, I love writing, man.
We'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So now that you're out in the wild and people are starting to know who you are and the property that you write, have you been approached for any anthologies or anything like that?
No, and it's crazy because I don't even know. Well, I can't say I don't know what an anthology is. Anthology. What is that? Like a short story?
Yeah, like a group of short stories by different authors and stuff like that. You see it a lot in comics these days, where a bunch of guys who have the shorter stories, not enough to fill like a whole 6-issue mini, they'll get together and put their stories all together in one book.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I never, like I said, all this is new to me, so I'm still.
Right on.
I had a couple of people that came to me wanting to write together, and you know, I've always written alone, so it's like I don't know how to collaborate, you know, with someone else. Not saying I wouldn't like to learn, but I just feel like it'll be like a lot of clashing going on, you know. So, I mean, I would love to write something with, you know, somebody and see where it goes. You know, like I said, I'm still learning, you know.
What's the biggest lesson that you've taken from this so far? Like what's the one thing that you're like, man, if I had only known this when I started?
How much money it takes, man. This thing is, you wouldn't believe, man. You know, and I hate to say that, but it's like I've I dread saving money for this. You know, it's like I'm writing. I'm like, man, you know, you got a family, you know, kids. My wife always come to me saying, you know, the kids need, and like now, you know, they need jackets. They need, and I'm just like, ah. And in the same sense, I'm like, I need to start saving up for this next book. You know, so it's a lot of stuff that I'm still, like I said, I'm still learning about this. Something always coming up. Like I said, I'm constantly watching Bob Sally, just like shaking my head, like this guy is just
The Magic Man.
yeah. But he's, you know, I'm just like, I have to go through all this. you know, and I know it's like, you know, that long tunnel, and you just looking for the light, and you just can't. That's where I'm at. I'm still in the dark, trying to find my way out. You know,
Right on. Well, I mean, you got guys like Bob Sally doing the sci-fi stuff and doing well at it, but then you got other guys like on the other side. You got Anthony White, who's doing like the superhero stuff and doing well at it. I mean,
oh,
but
Anthony,
they're. Oh, what's that?
I don't know Anthony White. I think
Um, he's doing like all the Powerverse stuff.
oh yeah, I know Anthony. Yeah,
Yeah. So I mean,
I know of him. I look at a lot of this stuff. Yeah, Powerverse. I got some of
right
those.
on. And it's really just a matter of like getting out there and taking the bruises as you're climbing, because it's really just one it's just like rock climbing. You're going from each handhold to each handhold, and every once in a while you slam into the rock and get a little bruise, but you keep going.
I'm slamming. Bruce.
Right on.
That's the big thing right now. Is like finding that fan base, building that fan base. And I am slow with it. I know. I think a lot of it has to do with the cons, and like I said, it's just getting that money ready for that as well. So it's right now I'm happy. I'm glad that I'll be paying my car off the beginning of next year. So hopefully
That'll loosen things up a little bit.
a little bit. So we'll see what happens.
Right on. So we got issue 3 just like I said, digitally hit the backers. Rewards are from what I can see in the background over there. It looks like you got some a good handle on it.
That's issue 1. Let me see. I don't know if you can see way over there. Well,
oh wow. Oh yeah, you can see that.
Oh, well, I'm in the way. Hold on. There. See over there, right there. Yeah, right there.
Yes, that's all issue 3.
No, that's issue 2. Issue 3 is over here.
Right on.
My whole man cave is starting to look like a storage. It doesn't look the same anymore.
So when do you think we're going to start seeing hints of issue 4 creeping around?
I don't know. I just contacted Kane White and told him that I'll be I try to do some pinups, a couple of pinups to show some things that are about to happen. And that's what I pretty much do. Like, I don't know if you've seen any of Kane White's pinups on Judas Breed, but I do the same thing with the covers. So each one of my covers, it's basically showing you what you're about to see and go through in that issue. So everything you see on these issues, on these covers, so this is transformation right here. So you're going to see some transformation stuff going on. So that's the same thing I do with the pinups. Just try to give you a glimpse of what you guys are about to see in the next issue.
And of course, the image that you did where you guys are all running from the Judas Breed, that's pretty much a statement of the whole series.
Well, you're going to see that. That's something you're going to see. I don't know if it's going to be in the sewers, though. Oh, man, I almost gave it away.
Yeah, don't give it away.
I almost gave it away. But yeah, you're going to see some things happening. Yeah, I almost said something else, but I'm not gonna give that away.
Yeah, you don't want to spoil anything going around. So if people want to track you down on the internet, what's the best place to find you?
You can find me on Facebook. I have a Facebook page. I have a Judas Breed page, and I also have a website, Penny Color Studios, and Comixology. So.
Right on. And they can get issue 1 and 2 on Comixology right now?
Say again?
They can get issue 1 and 2 on Comixology right now?
Yes. Yes, they can get that for sure.
Right on. And uh, the what do you call it? The best place. So say somebody is where you were when you just started out and want to learn about scripting. Can you just give a piece of advice? What's a good place to learn about scripting?
You mean how to write it, or?
Oh yeah, absolutely. How to write it.
Um, like I said, if you go to, I love Script City. I get a lot of my favorite scripts. To this day, I still read a lot of James Cameron stuff. Uh, I have Avatar that I constantly go over. I just like his storytelling, and I get the movie and I read along. And it, to me, if you look at the script and you see how they wrote it, you you'll get a sense of how the movie was created. I also love watching the making of the movie, and I try to write. I try to write where if I can't see it as a movie, I won't write it. Put it that way. So everything I write, I see it as a movie. So I don't see it as a comic book. I just use the comic book as storyboard with balloons.
Never hurts.
No, that hurts.
Never
I mean,
hurts.
get it like that, and you train yourself. I know a lot of people that read comic books. I read comic books, but to know how to write a script for me, um, looking at a script is the best way to understand what the writer was saying and pretty much what the director is saying. Because if you look at it, I'm actually the screenwriter and the director is, I'm actually directing, but your artist is actually behind the camera. He's the one that's basically putting down everything that you wrote. So, I mean, if you look at it that way, I think you and your artist will, I don't know, be able to understand each other better. Like Ryan, Ryan, I'm scared to even use another artist, even though I got a couple of artists I want to work with. Ryan just, he just, I can't explain it. He just knows what I want, you know. And I mean, when I say he draws it down verbatim. It's like, a couple of things he might go in and be like, this would be cool. He got this one part I liked, and I didn't even write this in the script, but it was one part in the book. This part right here. This is an issue 2, and the silhouette he did of Linda, and in the script I wrote that she was basically changing, and you can just hear the crackling of the bones, the ripping of the skin. So he came up with this silhouette, so when you turn the page, you don't know what's happening until you turn the page, and that's when you see Linda being, she's going through, what she's going through. So that's him just knowing me, and that's him knowing story, so he comes out with, his stuff, and, I really have to say, no, I don't like that, I said, oh, I like that. Let's go with that,
Right
So,
on.
yeah, I mean, just getting scripts, reading them, and, putting that in that database up there, getting the movie to the script and watching it, pausing it, yeah, I think well, for me anyway, it helped me a lot.
And how long did it take? How long did it take you to establish that relationship with Ryan to where he just knew what you wanted? Was it instant, or was it like a work in progress?
No, it was instant because, like I said in the beginning, I didn't know anything about comic book. I didn't know anything. So I basically trusted him in the beginning. And as the panels start coming, I'm like, oh, this dude is tight, you know. And I mean, I could have went with, I feel like, I'm sorry, my allergies are acting up. My eye keep watering.
I'm the same way. I feel you.
Yeah. I don't, and it's funny because, I look at all the artists, and there's some great artists out there, but I don't feel like all artists, I don't even know how I'm trying to say that. I had a guy tell me, he said, well, man, you probably should have used this artist, because, the artist, this and that. And I'm like, yeah, but that art don't even fit what I'm trying to do, and I feel like different artists are supposed to be on different properties. All artists, I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but Ryan is doing an awesome job on that book.
Right on. He's top notch. He's doing a fantastic job, and
it's top notch to me.
Yeah, the creepy factor is just, bleh. You see those bugs crawling around, and you're just like, you start rubbing the back of your neck. You just like,
he knows creepy.
We'll have to make sure that lands in his bio. This is Ryan Best. He knows creepy.
He knows creepy.
But I just wanted to say thank you very much for taking an hour of your time to come down and talk a little bit about process. We've never actually talked about scripting before, like in the kind of detail that we did today. So that was very cool of you to go over that, and we really appreciate it.
On scripting, but like I said again, that fear factor where you have those people out there to be like, no, they want to argue. So I'm like, I tend to just be like the elusive Bigfoot.
Well, we're glad we got a focused in image today. And thanks again. Once again, folks can find Judas Breed 1 and 2 on Comixology. 3, I'm sure, is to follow. And if you're looking for Kenneth on social media, the best place is Facebook. And
always there.
You're always there?
Always.
And once again, thanks so much for taking a little bit of your morning and sharing it with us. And we hope to have you back again when issue 4 drops, if that's cool.
I'll be there.
All right. You hear that, folks? Bigfoot's coming back. So this has been Walt for the Banff Podcast and the Indie Creators Spotlight, and we'll catch you next time.